Hey, Daniel.
What's that, Philip?
You know what it just got me jazzed last episode?
That we got to talk about Batman the whole time?
Well, yes. But
okay, yeah, that
also
got me jazzed
something else along with that.
Oh, what's that?
So, it was just really good that we told all of our listeners that listen to every episode how great they are. I think that was really nice of us.
Oh, like the shout out section?
Yeah.
About that. What? I actually was meaning to talk to you about this week. We actually forgot Mitchell.
What?
I was hanging out. We were all hanging out the other night.
Daniel, how could this happen?
And he was like, way to leave me out of that because he listens to every episode.
I feel so bad.
So I was thinking, he brought something to my attention about a month ago.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking maybe we can pay him back for missing him last week.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better if we do that.
So he was like, hey, Daniel, you guys haven't done top 10 worst lists yet. We've only done like top 10 best of something.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Maybe to make it up to Mitchell, we'll start integrating top 10 worst lists into our show. So would you like to tell all the listeners, including Mitchell, what our list this week is?
Yeah, it's 10 best supporting roles from Arrested Development. Just the two of us.
I think
we can podcast if we try. Just the two of us. We're going to make you laugh or die. Just the two of us.
Do it.
If you listen... You're
this
all right.
Podcast rocks.
Just the two of us.
And this is our new song. Welcome.
Hello.
To this week's edition of Classic Countdown Conversations.
I like that it's an edition.
Yeah. It's like the special editions, only good, of Star Wars movies.
Okay. I was thinking more like newspapers.
Oh,
that just shows how old I am, I guess.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of Star Wars. I'm always thinking of Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So, I think we need to take a few minutes here and just talk about our love for Arrested Development.
Yes.
When were you introduced to this show?
So I had well, I guess it was just really one friend.
Okay.
Dylan Williams.
Okay.
And he introduced me to Arrested Development. And
was it while it was airing?
No, it was after it aired.
After it was canceled?
And it was on Netflix. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, he told me about how funny it was, and like most things when I was that age, I didn't think it was that funny at first.
What year was this?
This is like when I was in high school, so I don't know.
Okay.
So
like mid 2000s?
Yeah, something like that. I didn't think it was that funny, and then I got deeper into it and thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's kind of how the show is in general.
Yeah. And then Philip was the friend that introduced me to Arrested Development.
I forgot that I even introduced you to it.
It was probably like 2014 or 2015 when you introduced it to me. Probably 14.
Yeah, what did I do? Did I just tell you to watch? Did we watch the first episode?
Yeah, we were
together?
hanging out and we went to like 4 different stores looking for them on like DVD. And remember, they're like, we don't know what that is. All the Walmarts.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, they know what and
I was very frustrated.
And then we borrowed it from John, I think.
Yeah.
Because that was back when you guys were living together.
Yeah, that sounds strange. We were roommates.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way to put it.
And my reaction was, I guess, similar to yours. Was like, you showed me the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
I was like, that, I like loved The Office was like my jam.
Yeah.
It still is.
I think that's what my argument was, that it was better than The Office.
Yeah, that's right. You told me that, and then when I watched the first episode or two, I was like, Now I'm inclined to say it probably is better than The Office. I don't know if I like it as much.
You got
personally.
all those memories.
The Office holds a very special place in my heart. But it is a better written show for sure.
Yeah. But what makes it so good? Daniel?
Well, everything about it. Like the first, and we're primarily talking about the first 3 seasons of the show. The 2 Netflix seasons, they're fine.
They're fine. Yeah,
they're fine.
The way that I put it is, of all shows, the Netflix episodes are like, those are good shows.
Yes,
but they're not
Arrested Development quality.
Yeah.
But it is neat. It's a neat concept that they brought them, that they were able to get all of them back. Yeah. And actually, there's a scene in the 4th season. Did you watch the 4th season all the way through?
Is that they're on the 5th season?
Yes.
No. Well, I don't remember. I think so.
There's a scene that they keep going back to throughout the entire 4th season. Because the whole season acts as one of the episodes in the first 3 do, to where it's like out of order and you know what I mean? And they keep going back to this one scene, and throughout the season, you're realizing that there's more and more characters in the room than you're realizing there are.
Oh, yeah.
And by the end, you realize, oh, this is the one scene that they got all the actors together for.
Yeah.
And that made me like smile a lot. I was like, oh, that's so neat that they were able to get them all back, even if it was only for a couple hours to film one scene together.
Yeah.
But yeah, the writing is phenomenal.
There's so many. The jokes are good.
The jokes, like, explain the layers of jokes in the show.
There's about 100 layers of jokes. So like they set up things and then they pay it off, but then they pay it off again in a bigger and better way.
And they pay off multiple jokes at once sometimes.
Yeah.
I'd say there's probably a ratio of about 3 jokes per like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Good.
And the casting is just pitch perfect for I mean the family is just like amazing.
Yeah. But somehow it got canceled.
It was beyond its time.
Yeah.
It was too clever for its own good at the time it was airing,
but,
which is sad.
Props to Fox for picking it up.
For Fox?
Isn't that
in the first place?
Yeah.
Did they pick it up in the first place?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure it was. I feel like it's too edgy for any other network.
That's true. They did put out It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the edgiest sitcoms out there.
Yeah.
Which we'll have to do some episodes on It's Always Sunny at some point.
Also another show that I introduced you to, I suppose.
Yeah. Yep. You also introduced me to Red Letter Media, Philip. So
what a guy I
am. But yeah, as perfect as the casting for the main family is in Arrested Development, that is not what we're talking about today.
No. We're talking about the supporting actors. Or supporting roles, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I guess, whatever.
But it would be supporting actors because they're all played by, all roles are played by an actor.
Yeah, an actor.
An actor. And so basically we said any character that's not a part of the immediate family.
Yeah.
So that excludes Michael, Lindsay, Job, Buster, Tobias, George Michael, maybe the dad and the mom.
Yeah.
And actually, I just thought of another honorable mention, so I'll say that first, and then we'll go up the line.
Okay.
But yeah, so we actually have 10 honorable mentions.
Yeah, we could have done 20, I guess.
We could have done 20. So let's just say that it's the top 20 Arrested Development supporting roles.
Except the first 11 are not in order of anything.
Right, yeah, that's true. They're just kind of, I wrote them down in no specific order.
Yeah.
Who's
your first one?
So one that I forgot, and it's because it's played by the same actor who plays another character.
Okay.
And that's Oscar Bluth, the uncle.
The uncle.
He, very, very funny character.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, like just jokes just escape my mind, and when they enter them, it makes me so happy. The whole, is Oscar Buster's real father or not?
Oh man,
that running joke. We're gonna have to do top 10 running jokes, or top 100 running jokes of the show at some point. But Oscar Bluth, fantastic.
Oh man, And then we've got Stan and Sally Sitwell,
right,
as an honorable mention.
So kind of cheating, putting 2 in
that
one.
is cheating,
but whatever. I don't care.
We do what we want.
It's like putting Chip and Dale as like the same. It's okay.
They're one character. Yeah. You can't have one without the other.
Of course. After Stan and Sally Sitwell, we have John Beard. When we were looking at the characters in the show, we were like, "Who's John Beard?" Because
as John Beard,
yeah, as John Beard. And Philip and I are not sports people like at all. And John Beard is the newscaster in the show, who apparently shows up in like 28 episodes, and I didn't even register in my mind that he was a recurring character, but he is. And I think that's like a funny, clever way of having a recurring character.
That's true.
Through like a newscaster.
Yeah, that's great. Then we got the warden, who shows up just enough.
When he like writes that play in the prison and has the little kids playing the parts. Oh my word.
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
After that, we have J. Walter Weatherman, the man who the father hires to teach his children lifelong lessons that will never leave them because they scarred them as a child. Because J. Walter Weatherman only has one arm.
Yep.
And he would teach his kids to leave notes or to, I don't know, sweep the steps, whatever it was, by making J. Walter Weatherman pretend like he lost an arm because they did not do what he told them to. Great. That's how I'm going to parent, by the way.
You know what? That's a good way to parent, I think. I think that's probably the most wholesome way. Next week, before I say it, I just realized how incredible are all of these names.
That's true.
Like, they're so good.
You know what it kind of reminds me of?
What's that?
So there's this little YouTube series. It's called like Brian Sneezefest.
Oh,
or something like that.
Tell me about that.
It's about this guy who's very like self-conceited, but he doesn't really know that he's bad at certain things. And as the show goes along, there's like all these supporting characters, and they all have just like the most unique names possible.
Yeah.
So Brian Sneezefest, which is an obvious reference to Ryan Seacrest. You have Patrick and Perry Pansdingle.
Yep.
You have Matt Buckets, Louis Goob. You have Sebastian Shufflewood, Chaz Davenport, Jason and Brendan Sneezefest. You just
a
plethora of characters. That show gets really overlooked.
Yeah,
I think
more people need to watch it.
Yeah, it's on a YouTube channel. It's called Wingspread Productions. If you want to go watch it, subscribe, do whatever you want. You show them some love and support.
Well, now that we've gotten that cool ad out of the way, Jean Parmesan.
There's another one. He doesn't show up too much, but when he does,
gets you good.
It gets you good. Do you want to explain Jean Parmesan?
I would love to. So he is kind of, as Daniel and I were just talking about, a master of disguise. He just pops up and he kind of scares. Oh goodness, what's her name?
Lucille.
Lucille, thank you. Lucille out of nowhere, and she just loves it.
Her excitement for the fact that she gets scared by Jean Parmesan.
It's so good.
Oh man, you know, like the mom is the most. Like if you knew her in real life, you would absolutely hate her.
Yes.
But the actress, her name has escaped me. I think it's like Jessica Walters or something like that.
Okay.
She is just perfect in that part.
She's very good.
Like I don't know how.
I feel like her mom must have been the way that she is. Or something.
I would assume so. That's how the dad in A Christmas Story.
Yes.
That's what he based his performance on, was his father.
Own dad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's probably the best person.
The best way to do it.
Yeah.
After that, this one I kind of wanted this guy to be in our top 10.
He is good.
And that's Larry. He's the like surrogate.
Yes.
I don't know, eyes for George Bluth.
Goodness.
And his delivery is the delivery and the editing to where like it'll cut from George to him saying the same line is, oh man.
I can't imagine how hard that guy must have been like trying to keep his face straight
during
those lines. I can't imagine.
Because he's like He's like yell talking.
Yes.
And he sounds hoarse. I with this show especially, this show and It's Always Sunny, I always just imagine the writing room.
Yes.
And just like, how do they come up with these things for the show?
Next we have Tony Wonder, who's Ben Stiller's character.
Yes.
I remember him, but I don't exactly remember what he did.
He's like Job's.
Is he the counterpart
rival.
for?
Yeah,
okay.
he's like.
Okay, so but
he's not
sense.
good.
Yeah.
He's like on par with Job, but he gets more recognition than Job.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
And then in the 4th season, this is probably the best storyline in the 4th season.
Mm-hmm.
They like act as a gay couple. and then they kind of start getting confused whether or not
That's
they're actually.
Right. Yes, I forgot about that.
Because Tony at one point he's like, let us live our lives. He's like, let me live my like. He like corrects himself. Yes. Oh man. That's good stuff. Another one. This was one that almost made our top 10 as well. This was
I wanted it in there.
This like edged out.
Yeah.
But that is Rita
or Mr. F.
Mr. F.
So I mean. I don't know why, but that joke is like probably what sealed the deal for me.
But for the show, in general,
mentally retarded female. It's just like I just didn't know whether that was gonna come at all.
Well, no, and like that's the thing about Arrested Development is like on a typical show, that would be what like the main characters think it would stand for.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they're dim-witted or whatever, but they think it stands for Mr. F, but that it actually, for real, stands for mentally retarded female. I think the best joke that comes with Rita is when she's in the car with George Michael, and he's like, you can put some music on, and she puts on like this 4-year-old's like,
that's right,
and she's like clapping to it, and George Michael's, or I'm sorry, the narrator is like, and that's when George Michael first started having his suspicions.
Oh, man.
And then who's our last honorable mention?
Andy Richter, who plays Andy Richter
plays
on the
himself.
show.
Well, he doesn't always play. He doesn't only play himself.
That's true. He like plays his.
He plays like his 4 of his own brothers.
Yes. Which is what a funny concept to think through with that.
And, and there's like the part where it shows like all 5 of them next to each other, and they're like, this is what this brother does, this is what this one does, and then it's like this brother didn't want to show his face, so we had to blur it out. And it's like, but through digital trickery, this is probably what he looks like, and they just take all their faces and put it on his.
Oh man, it's so good.
And then they had Conan on in one episode, and Andy Richter just starts like going off on him.
Yeah, he hates him. Oh man. Which also, of all the late night talk show hosts, I'm pretty sure that Conan's my favorite.
Oh,
by
yeah.
the way.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
More so than anyone else.
So funny.
And by the way, this is kind of a little late, but if you haven't seen Arrested Development, this episode will be lost upon you.
Yeah, and you should stop. No. Listen to the podcast. Give us money.
Yes.
And then
go watch Arrested Development immediately.
Yeah. Sorry, I almost messed that up.
Did you almost just say stop listening?
Yeah, that was dumb of me.
Philip, if you were to have said that, I would have gotten out of my chair and smacked you upside the head.
Well, I would have appreciated it. To the top 10?
I'm so sorry.
Whoa. To the top 10?
Yes. Philip, would you do the honors with our
Yes. Our first, I'm laughing just thinking about it. Number 10 is Karl Weathers, which is playing Karl Weathers. For a second, you tricked me. I was like, wait.
No, yeah, he's playing himself.
He's playing himself, and he's like homeless and...
But it's never outright said he's homeless. It's just implies.
Very hungry.
Yeah, because he's always, I forget, he's talking to Tobias at one point, and he's about to throw away like some chicken legs or something. He's like, whoa now. He's like, there's still some meat on those bones. Like, put it in some water. Man. You got yourself a stew.
The actor extraordinaire, Karl Weathers, who helps Tobias learn how to act. Man.
I haven't watched the show in a while.
Yeah, it's
to be
good
honest.
to remember
this
all
is making me
stuff.
really want to watch this show. I think there's a really good scene with Karl Weathers where they're in Burger King, and the whole scene is just an ad.
Yes,
and it's like because at this point, Arrested Development
they're about to get canceled.
So they're just like they're taking all these advertisements, but they're blatantly making them advertisements. Yes. But in the background of that scene, there's a sign for the Angus burger, but there's a pillar blocking the G, so it says anus burger.
Oh, Arrested Development. Only you could get away with that.
And while they're advertising Burger King, they make fun of Burger King.
So good.
And they probably never saw that because it's like backwards and in the background. Yeah. So it's like completely. Man. Okay.
Number 9.
Is, and this is probably the most fun thing to say when it comes to Arrested Development lore or Arrested Development show is Bob Blah Blah.
Yep. Oh man.
And what does Bob Blah Blah have?
He has a law blog. so Bob Blah Blah's law blog, which is, I don't know. I can't even imagine the laughter that they must have had in their writer's room.
Well, and here's the thing: his name is like there's so many layers to it. It's Bob Blah Blah, like blah blah blah,
blah blah blah.
But then it's also he's a lawyer, and law is how you spell the blah blah blah.
Yep.
And then Bob Blah Blah's law blog.
Yeah. Wow.
It's kind of like the joke in Parks and Rec, the low-cal calzone zone.
Yes, yeah.
That's what it reminds me. But this is probably a bit better of a joke.
Well, and what's funny is the law blog comes in later.
Yeah, I know. It's not the first. Yeah.
My guess is that they came up with the blah, 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 and then somebody was like, what if he had a law blog?
Yeah, like later on.
Yeah.
Man. And I think I think you probably would have had him a little higher on the list. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's super funny.
He's not great.
It's more so the joke that comes along with him.
Yes,
is one of probably the best jokes in the show.
Oh yeah,
the Bob Blah Blah's law blog.
Yeah,
let's see how many times we can say that in this episode.
What's great is it like rolls off the lips.
Yeah, and it's not it's not that unbelievable.
No,
you know what I mean?
Oh man. So funny.
Who's number 8, Philip?
Number 8 is Anne.
Bland?
Bland, yeah.
Her?
Just who is that?
Her? You know what's funny? The first episode she's in isn't even played by the same actress for the rest of the show.
What?
And you never knew because she's so bland.
Is that for real?
It's for real.
Oh my word. How did they do that?
And I don't know if that was on purpose or if the first girl they just didn't get her back. But if that was intentional, then that's one of the best choreographed jokes of all time.
Maybe that's why was that joke in the first episode?
I don't remember the first episode she's in.
Because it would be funny if that was they just made that joke, man. But Anne is a great supporting character because she creates many a funny.
Oh, I always she's probably one of the. Her and another character on the list is one of the causes of a lot of jokes.
Yes.
Because there's the Bland and Anne.
Yep.
There's the her joke. And then the whole Charlie Brown sad walking is caused because she breaks up with George Michael.
That's right.
So, and again, she kind of is in the same boat as Blah Blah Blah.
Yep.
To where she's not so funny herself.
Yeah.
It's more so what comes from her that's hilarious.
Yep.
Anything else?
No. I think probably one of the episodes that I remember the most is when she's in the beauty pageant.
Yes. And maybe is
yes.
Yeah.
She ends up winning and yeah, it's just great. And then that's when he goes into the army.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. So funny. Okay.
And actually her and George Michael, they're in Scott Pilgrim together.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
They're not the two main characters.
No, she is. I mean, she's in it a little bit. He's the main character, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, what would that have been? Because when was Arrested Development canceled? 2005?
I don't know.
I think it was from was it 03 to 05 or 01 to 03? I always forget. Anyways,
I think it's 05.
Okay. So that would have been like 5 years later, and then they're in this movie together.
That's funny.
But yeah. Okay, so number 7 is Anyang.
Anyang.
Hello.
Hello. Anyang.
There's I think we should say the best joke with each of the characters because we've kind of done that so far. I think the best joke that came with Anyang was in the last episode of the original 3, when he's like, they're like Anyang. He's like, that's not my real name.
Yes.
And they're like, what's your real name?
Hello.
And he's like, hello. And they're like, hello. He's like, Anyang. And they're like, Anyang. It's like confusing.
Oh,
I probably butchered. I don't think that's the exact, like.
It's something
It's
very
something
close to
along
that.
those lines.
Yes. Though, I think, actually, now that I think about it, doesn't he get like stuck in the wall?
Yeah,
Is that in the newer seasons?
No, that's the original. Okay. He goes missing for like a season and a half, and then I think George Bluth is in the walls at one point, and it's in like the whole next time on Arrested Development, and it's never in the next episode.
Yes. Oh man.
It's like next time this happens, and then it's like, but he's not the only one in the walls. Like zooms out and friggin' Anyang's in there. You're like, what the heck? I haven't seen him in forever.
Oh man.
Another, and that's like an earlier, because he's an earlier edition of the show.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the better jokes, from the first season.
And thinking of like setups and payoffs, Anyang being like his name, and then by the last episode of the last season, they make that joke. Jeez.
Well, that and like, imagine you being in another, somewhere where you don't understand the language.
Yes,
and you being like,
hello.
Philip, but they don't understand, or I don't know, like Ola, and they're thinking that's your name, but your real name is Philip.
Yeah,
that joke is quite funny.
That's good. All right,
who's next?
Steve Holt.
Steve Holt. That's pretty much the joke.
That is the joke.
With him.
And then he becomes the son
of Job.
Job, which is probably one of the more heartfelt stories.
This is actually something that bugs me about Arrested Development, is that Job never comes around.
No, he doesn't.
It's so sad.
It's very sad.
And like Steve Holt,
he wants him as his dad.
He has so much hope.
Steve Holt's a nice guy, despite being the jock of the school.
Despite being an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where like one show would do it one way and they don't do it that way. It's he is the jock, but he's like lovable and nice.
He's good. Who's next?
So yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. He's like probably one of the more consistent recurring characters.
Yeah.
And you always get the same with him. You're always like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You always laugh. The same amount with Steve Holt. Number 5, I'd say this is probably the one that chews up the least. Maybe Karl Weathers. But like I was just saying with Steve Holt, he's sparingly used, but every single time it just hits it right on the head, and that's the literal doctor.
Which is his actual name.
We looked up on IMDb, and he's down as literal doctor. What's the best joke with him, Philip?
God, I feel like the best joke is the first time you meet him.
That's
he says first
George.
episode.
He says, he says George is dead, right?
Yeah, or he's passed or something.
Yeah, something. He's gone. He's gone.
Oh yeah, and then he's not there.
He's just he went out the window.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think but that sets up
yes
the rest of the jokes.
And I think like that's the best setup, and then the best payoff is when he says he's gonna be all right about Buster.
Yeah.
And they think they finally have gotten good news from this guy, and they're really happy. And he's like, I would be taking this a lot harder if I was you guys. And then he's like, he's lost his left hand.
He's all right. Goodness. Oh man. Actually, this is probably the only show that can do puns and it be hilarious.
Well, do puns and it not seem like they're doing puns all the time.
Yeah, it's not. This is probably where my love of puns came from.
I would assume Philip has a very deep love for puns. His are bad.
Mine are bad. Mine are not up to
Arrested Development standards. But no, I'm sure that it is where, because this show is just layered.
Yeah.
Our next entry is nothing but a pun.
Should I go ahead and say it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Lucille.
Lucille 2.
2, not Lucille Blue. Lucille 2.
And it's not the loose seal.
And it's not a loose seal.
It's Lucille 2.
Oh, man.
And just all the wacky hijinks they get into with
Buster's girlfriend. She has vertigo.
I think all 3 of the Bluth brothers end up being with her at some point in the show. And so she's like their mom's age.
Oh man, Lucille and she's funny.
Oh yeah,
like she's
a good job. She's more like she's not outright funny.
Yeah.
I think that's Judy Garland's daughter.
Is it really?
In real life, yeah. I think she was like a singer or something.
Okay.
But yeah, she's used a lot more because the rest of the show is pretty subtle.
Yeah.
But she's using like a different subtlety
yeah.
than the rest of the show is.
Yeah.
I don't really know. She's more subdued, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah. I see it.
But yeah, she probably is the cause of the most jokes of the show, outside of the main family, of course.
Yeah. Oh man. Who's next?
Next is our 3 and 2. We actually swapped. They're so close that they're really kind of interchangeable. But we thought that he edged off number 3 a little bit more. Yeah. And that is Barry Zuckerkorn, played by Fonzie, Henry Winkler.
Yep. Oh man. What a guy to decide to be part of this show.
and like, it's so because he's such the opposite of Fonzie from Happy Days.
Yes. Yeah, he's like, and he jumps a shark.
He does jump a shark in the show, and it's not brought up.
No,
it's just
he just literally
visual.
does it.
Yeah, and I think he's probably the most he's the most recurring on screen.
Oh yeah,
character. So he even though some of these other entries have a little bit more jokes to them.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a spot.
I think my favorite joke with Barry Zuckerkorn is just about how he thinks that if you're married, your spouse can't go to jail
for the same crime.
Like he just,
and I think that's even before we meet him.
Yeah,
I think because George is like, I need to get a new lawyer, and then it turns out to be this guy.
Yeah.
And I think a great joke with him is that they just can't get away from him.
Yeah.
Like, Michael's the only one that sees that he's like the worst lawyer ever. Mm. The rest of the family loves him, but it's hard. It just like everything else that Michael tries to do, it just ends up backfiring, and they can never get rid of him. Philip, would you like to say our number 2?
Number 2 is the narrator, also known as Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Oh, man. So I don't know what the number 1 joke is. I can think of what my favorite part of the narrator is.
Tell me.
Would be what we actually already mentioned it, is the up in next week's episode, and then he explains that nothing at all
is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was thinking, I didn't even think of the narrator. You just don't think of him as a supporting role because he's not on screen.
Right.
I think he's in the 4th season. I think Ron Howard is actually in the 4th season.
He probably is, yeah.
Because that's a whole subplot of the 4th season is they're trying to make a movie about the Bluths.
Oh, that's right.
Which is kind of funny because that was Tobias. There was a subplot in the first 3 seasons was Tobias was trying to get a movie made about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they keep talking about the narrator.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Well, I think
just hilarious.
And what's funny is like he wasn't supposed to be the original narrator.
Oh, really?
He was just a placeholder for the first episode.
Oh,
and they were like, Ron Howard, like, you do a good job as the narrator. Just keep doing it, because he was a producer, so he was around anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, and other than the family, he's the only person that appears in every episode.
Yeah, which is interesting to think about. He's a good little supporter.
Yeah.
It helps. I think without the narrator, you wouldn't have.
50% of the jokes wouldn't be
there. They wouldn't land,
No.
or it just wouldn't work. And somehow the narrator works.
He does. He's great.
Which is unlike any show, any comedy show at least.
Right.
It's
and
awesome.
How I Met Your Mother.
I guess that's true.
They do a narrator that
they came after this.
But yeah, and it's not nearly the narrator doesn't, and How I Met Your Mother doesn't interact as much as this narrator does.
Yeah.
And you don't know who the narrator is.
No, it's just a narrator.
I mean, we know it's Ron Howard, but I don't think it's supposed to be Ron Howard. It's
just a person.
It's like an entity.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost like, and he's self-aware. Like he knows that they're not any good.
Well, and he knows that he knows it's a TV show.
Yeah.
I think, and he knows that they're about to be canceled. Like he just outright tells the audience these things. Completely breaking all the walls.
Yes, all walls have been broken, even the roof. All right. But before we get to number one, you know what this podcast needs?
It needs some celebrities.
No. Money.
To buy celebrities.
So yeah, we need more celebrities.
Yeah.
So that we'll
get more money.
More money.
More money, less problems.
Yeah.
Is what I like to say.
I like the clean version of that.
Yeah.
Or that's not what I was thinking.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking that there's something with the B word in it, and I don't like it.
I'm
gonna cut that out.
Okay.
So more money.
More money, less problems.
Less problems, not more problems.
Right. Yes.
Less problems.
Why would that be less problems for us, Philip?
Well, we both have full-time jobs. Well, Daniel's.
Yeah.
It's full-time.
Yeah.
Full-time
I
enough.
work a few jobs, actually.
That's right. And we also do this podcast, and you know what would be great?
If this became our full-time job.
That would be awesome. Well, so thankfully, we have one Patreon.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Patreon is, I guess I should explain that first.
I like that.
That's a service in which you give us money, and in return, we give you a little something.
What do we give them, Philip?
We give them, we have a couple tiers.
Okay.
The first tier is only just for $5 a month. Just a measly old $5.
That's less than a meal.
Less than a normal meal at a fast food restaurant.
Fast food, not like regular food. Like like less than a fast food meal.
Jeez.
That's so cheap.
That's so cheap. You could give to me and Daniel, and then we would give you the ability to be our best friends, and also some behind-the-scenes footage.
Yeah.
We just did a video.
We did.
Tonight.
And only the one Patreon can see it right now.
That's right.
But as you join, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah. And if you are sad that you can't see it, it's your fault for not giving $5 to us a month.
Now, what about $10, Philip?
Well, $10, you get that stuff. But then you also get a sweet mug.
A mug this year. Next year, you get a picture of our friend Ethan, and in the picture, he's laying out a bunch of pennies.
There's that.
There's more to the picture, but that's all I'll say.
We will not tell you any more about it.
No more about it. And then every year beyond that, we'll give you a gift.
Yeah.
Once a year.
So we hope that you want to do that for us. Thanks to Corey for being our first Patreon.
Thank you, Corey.
Even before my mother. That's pretty impressive.
And before mine. My parents will never become it.
Yeah, I don't think they believe in us. What else can they do? Nothing. They can just give us more money.
Yeah.
If you like the idea of Patreon, at least check out the page.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/classic countdown conversations.
Thank you.
Okay. So number one.
Let's give them 10 seconds to try to guess, Philip.
Yeah, I mean, there's hardly any characters left. Well, that's not true. There's a lot of characters left, but
There are some characters that we left out just because this wasn't name every side character of Arrested Development. It was name the best.
Yeah.
It was the best.
The best. Which is really all characters are so good.
They are this only in this show are all characters good.
There's no bad character.
But we think the best supporting role in this show, and it wasn't like I thought this and I made Philip agree.
No,
I just sent him over like a list and I was like, I think this person's best, and Philip was like, I think so as well.
Yeah,
and that is, drum roll please, Philip. Franklin Bluth.
Oh man.
He
just
is
saying his name makes me laugh.
He is technically part of the family.
Yeah,
but he's not in the intro.
He also is technically Job.
He's technically Job, but
and
everyone
a little bit Buster. I guess.
A little bit Buster. But everyone treats him as, except for Michael, everyone treats him as if he is a person.
Yep, even the guard at the gate.
The guard, he gives him a fist bump. The dad, every time he says something about Lucille, George starts choking him out, which is really just Job's wrist.
Oh man!
And you know what? I think other than the fact that Job tries to use Franklin as a barrier, like to break down barriers between race.
Yeah.
Which is maybe the funniest joke in any sitcom I've ever seen. The part where Job is at the laundromat and he's singing along to his own song that he wrote with Franklin. He realizes he accidentally put Franklin in the washer,
yes.
and it has turned, because Franklin is a brown puppet.
Yes.
It has turned his skin white, and then his voice goes from that of a African American to that of an English man once he's white.
Very, very white man.
And I think that might be the most subtle joke in the show.
Oh man, no, and
because he tells Job that he ruined the act,
and so outrageous.
Oh man,
probably the most. I wonder. I just wonder what our African American friends think of that. Probably think it's hilarious.
Oh, I would assume so. Obviously, like, I don't know. I feel like in a show like this, you can't take anything seriously.
No, by no means.
But yeah, Franklin Bluth rounds out our number one spot.
Yeah, there's nothing better than Frankie.
I think that might be the best joke in the show. In my opinion, it's at least like up there, top 5.
Yes,
best jokes in the show.
It's gotta be. I don't know what the top joke is, but
I think we do need to do running jokes for Arrested Development.
I think that would probably be good.
And who knows? Maybe Franklin will probably be on that list as well.
He will. He will have to be.
But yeah, that's our list. If nothing else, I hope this episode has gotten you interested in Arrested Development and you go watch it.
Yeah,
because it is something very, very special.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, please go see it. It's on Netflix. All the seasons. There's a new season.
2 new seasons.
Neither of us have seen.
I've seen the first couple episodes of it. The trailer for it was fantastic, though. I will give it that.
Oh, I never watched.
I'll show it to you here after we're done recording. But yeah, it like made me emotional.
Oh,
the trailer did. I was like, oh,
they got you good.
They got me. But yeah.
I think that if you have seen Arrested Development and we didn't mention a character, you should comment on our website.
Yeah.
At classicdownconversations.com.
Yeah.
Thanks to Karen.
Oh, Karen. Okay.
I think that's my mom.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay.
There's a good chance it's not my mom.
Okay.
And
did she give us a rating?
She didn't give us a rating. She gave us a comment that said that she likes Lindsay on the podcast.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
So we'll keep me wife in there.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't going nowhere. So
no, I think. But Philip and I missed each other so much. We were away from each other for like 3 or 4 weeks.
That's right.
On the podcast, I think it'll just be us for a little bit longer.
Right. This podcast is really just an excuse for me and Daniel to hang out.
That's where it started. It's just us hanging out one night.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, if you have any ideas for future lists, let us know.
Yeah, there's a little contact page on our website. If you hit the 3 little lines,
we'd love to hear from you.
We'd love to. We'd also, you know what we would love, Daniel? Do you know what we would love?
I would really love some pizza right now.
Well, that also, you could get a rating for us on your favorite podcast app.
Okay.
We currently have 11 5-star ratings on Apple.
Nice.
Which is great.
That's 5 stars.
That's all 5 stars. Thanks to those people that gave us those 5 stars. No, but you know what I'd really like?
What's that?
More than just a star rating. Can you write it down?
Yeah, write down a review.
That's what I'd like. Also,
Philip, do it for Philip.
Do it for me. I'm needy. Also, you know, it'd really, really be good, man. I'm just asking people to do a lot of stuff today.
What would be
give us money, but I also, above giving us money, which is really strange for me to say.
Yeah,
I want you to share our podcast with
other people.
It's free for you to do, and it takes you 5 seconds.
Where can they find us?
What do you mean?
Where can they listen to us at?
Oh, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts.
Not where can they find us? I was like, people.
We're in Ohio.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm gonna say.
I'll go a little further. We're in the Dayton area.
Oh, that's a risky business.
Nope, I like it. I like being risky.
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Google Play. You can find us on Spotify even. So if you open up your Spotify app and you hit the little share button on our podcast, you can literally text your friends and say, "Hey, this episode would probably be pretty. You like Arrested Development?
Yeah, listen to this podcast.
Listen to this podcast." Or if you want to be real crazy, you could go on your social media and say how great it is.
Yeah,
post a little picture. I don't know. Do something. We don't have social media, so we need you to do it for us.
We will probably start that up soon.
Yeah.
Where else can they find us? Maybe one more site?
Lightbulbs100.com.
Okay.
That's actually where I get all my, I don't think that's the name of the website, but that's where I get all my light bulbs.
That's fine. You can find us there as well.
You can find us there. It's a light bulb. It's actually a filament that when it shines out of the light bulb, it shows our faces.
Oh.
Our unseeable faces on the podcast.
That. Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Dave. We've never thanked each other before.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah.
Listeners.
Do we have any shout outs we want to give? Since we missed Mitchell?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much everyone.
Thanks. If you listen to every episode, let us know.
Yeah.
And then we can shout you out. Put it in the rating that you give us.
Let's grow our listenership to everyone on planet Earth.
We currently have, I think, 34 subscribers. Right. So
let's grow that to 34,000.
So that's 1 out of 34 people give us money. So
be the next.
Be the next.
That's our new slogan. Be the next.
Be the next. Classic countdown conversations. All right.
See you next week.
See you next week.